Well, hello my friends, and a big welcome back to my channel. So today we are finally, hopefully, going to say goodbye and good riddance to some of the weeds around here. We have a day that's not raining. We've had so much rain, it seems like constant. And I really wanted to try out this. I got this new pump, and so I wanted to try out this DIY weed killer. I know a lot of you guys have commented that I should try this. So I looked up a recipe. Basically it is, well, I did a half recipe, but the recipe was a gallon of vinegar and a cup of salt and then like a tablespoon of dish soap. So I did a half recipe here because that is all of the vinegar that I had. So I'm going to try this. I've never used this pump before, but I've got so many weeds growing along the edge of my driveway here, and it just looks dumb. I'm over it. So I'm going to attempt this, it's hard to pull out. It's just, the gravel is so tight that it's just not easy to pull the weeds out. So I'm going to attempt this solution here. And I think it takes some time, but ooh. So, is this supposed to be spraying out at me? It feels like there's a, some sort of a situation going on. But I think that you can pressurize it. I wonder if the lid's not on quite tight enough. I don't know. But if you pressurize it, then in theory, oh yeah, it sprays. Nice. And I think that you can have different, yes, interesting, different ways that it sprays. So that's nice. So I'm going to just spray this solution, and hopefully it will kill the weeds. I did mow them down a little bit. This thing works pretty nice. And obviously I don't want to get it on my plants. Yeah, this sprayer is really nice. Well, it definitely doesn't happen, you know, at once, but we'll have to tune back in and see if we made any progress with it. And then going down this direction as well. It does spray really nicely. I can put a link to this. I don't remember if I got it from Amazon or Walmart, but the brand is Chapin. So one thing I'm curious about is how, if the vinegar would have any effect on my rocks, because I've got so many stones everywhere, you know, and if it didn't have any negative effects, then I could potentially put it even on the top of my patio, but I don't want it to stain it, you know, or make the coloring any different. So this will be a good test to see how it works. It really does go a long, long ways on a pump of air. That's nice. I think everything got a good wash. Over here. So the other place that I wanted to try this out on is the actual stone wall of the patio. So I've had a couple weeds pop up on the top of the patio, but it hasn't been too bad. Every once in a while I'll just see one and I'll rip it out. But I'm more thinking about the actual walls, and the stairs are a little bit as well, although I could definitely just pull these weeds out, and maybe I will do that instead of using this just in case it gives any discoloration. But the side walls, I think it's okay to try it on. So this whole area here is a little sketchy, and I'm not sure, big picture, what I'm gonna do with it. The area in front of the stone walls here, in front of these gardens, I am eventually planning on having nice grass. So really this whole area here, eventually I want it to be nice like lawn. That's my goal as of now. But obviously this year, you know, it's a work in progress. So I'm hoping if I can just get some of these big nasty weeds. I don't know if this is, I should probably just pull these out, but we'll see. We're testing now. Testing how this works. I don't want to get it on any of my good flowers, obviously. It'll be really interesting to see if this kills it. Man, I wonder if I'm running out. Not quite. But I'm just gonna get it in all of these cracks and crevices. Hopefully. I think that this area here is the very worst. So I'm trying to give it a good layer. Where is that little tube? Okay, well that went really quickly. I wasn't expecting it to go quite that quickly. Like I said, I did a ½ gallon, but still, that's a lot of liquid. However, that's okay because I feel like I got the really bad parts. I don't know, I think maybe because the stairs were being built, there was a lot more like dirt in that area, and the dirt is where the stuff really grows, you know? Whereas the rest of the wall, you can see there are a couple little things growing, but it's not that bad. It's like a little bit left in here, so I'm gonna try to get a couple spots here. Oh, she's running on empty. Huh, well, that's that. It'll be a fun little experiment anyway. I'll have to check back in. I don't know how long it takes, but I'll try to check back in at the end of this video and show you how things are looking. Hopefully it'll kill some of these weeds and get things a little bit more under control. And if it does, once I get more vinegar, you know, it's a really easy home remedy of things that, you know, you have right on hand. And this little thing worked really well. What I am gonna do is rinse it out because I know somebody mentioned on a comment that the salt or whatever kind of builds up and makes it so you can't use it again. And I would like to use it again because it was a handy little number. Should probably be careful where I dump this. Okay, well hopefully this will work well for next time. I'm pretty excited about this thing. I feel like it would be a good idea to maybe have one that I use for weed killers, and then one that is like for a insect repellent, kind of some sort of natural insect repellent thing that I could spray around the patio, although it has not been bad, but never helps to be better. Even like a citronella or something like that. It might be fun to have one of these on hand for that. So it's just a thought. Okay, friends, well, I was just talking to you and I didn't realize that I had not pressed the record button. So moral of the story is it is time to deal with the rest of the weeds in the garden the old-fashioned way. And I just went through and did the stairs, although I'm seeing one blinding one that I missed. And I was saying that the stairs, I never went back and put another layer of stone dust. Like with the top, there were a few different times that, you know, it sunk in, it kind of settled, and then I went back and put another layer of stone dust and swept that in. But I never actually did that for the steps, and they're looking pretty good. There are a few spots everywhere on the patio that need to be dealt with, and just with water, we had so much rain, and heavy rain has washed out some spots. So soon I will be dealing with that. It's one of those things that I gotta hype myself up to do it because it doesn't sound like fun. But soon I will be doing that. I also wanted to tell you, because I don't remember if I did or not. On the back of the house here, I did get gutters up the top and also snow stoppers So that'll help, I think, a lot with the rain situation. And even like in the back corner where I've always had issues with that going out, I'm hoping that that's going to help with that as well. But I want to get a few weeds out of here. So a little while ago, my mom and I kind of did a number on this garden. Look at my poor pathetic lettuce that I have. I have eaten some, but not enough apparently. And at this point it's so big, I don't know if it's going to taste good or not. So ever since my mom and I did a real number on this garden here, it has been so much better, so much better. And try to find the weeds in the, that's helpful. And putting extra mulch on, I think, helped a lot. So I don't feel like this garden is terrible, but there are definitely some weeds. But sometimes finding them amidst the flowers is a little bit tricky without pulling out the wrong thing. And the nice thing is, for me, it doesn't need to look perfect. As long as it's functioning correctly, you know, a couple weeds aren't gonna hurt us. Especially back here, because this garden is really, I mean, it is for looks, but it's also for function. And it's not actually like in the front of the house where people see it. So out of all of the baby's breath that I planted, one came up and it is flowering. I think that one of my negative things is that I really planted too little. Like I assumed, I think, too much that things would just come up. And so if I wanted 6 of something, I planted 6 of something. And you know what I got? 1. So next year, I'm gonna know to plant more. And because for crying out loud, you've got a million seeds. It's very silly just to do that. But then there was also the fact that I was planning on succession planting more, which would have been great if I did it, but I didn't do it because things were getting so out of control in the garden, and then also I was going so crazy working for the patios. Much nicer. And guys, I am so pumped for the Lisianthus to open up. We have waited so long for those. So some of the exciting things going on over here are that, what is this? Oh, that's a carrot. Weeds and carrots mixed together. So the exciting thing going on over here is that some of my dahlias are very close to opening. The new ones that I got, that I ordered from Eden Brothers, which I don't remember what they look like, but I remember that they were super beautiful. So I'm very excited to see what they look like. So I've got several of those coming close to opening. But the unexciting thing that's happening over here is that I thought that this plant over here, that guy when it was first coming up, I thought that it was my lunaria plant, which I had planted. And as it got bigger, I realized it's not. It's a weed. So I don't think that actually came up. I'll have to try to plant it again. And I'll try it in the purple garden because it is a purple flower. So that'll be nice if it works. But that was the one that I really liked, the seed pod. It's very, very beautiful. So, and unfortunately, it's a 2-year thing. So it takes 2 years to make it go to seed like that. And I was hoping to get it at least going so that next year I would have that. But, you know, it doesn't always work out the way you want it to. But in other good news, I'm pretty sure that this one over there are the chocolate cosmos that I had planted. they took a really long time to come up, so I wasn't sure if they were actually coming, but they are coming, so pretty sure that's it. So that's the good news. And another thing that I generally won't do, again, the way I did it, is the nasturtium. It is growing nicely everywhere, and that one actually is trailing a bit up the stone wall somehow. But for the most part, you guys were right, it trails down, but does not climb up. So it's just kind of there in all of its places. And somehow I inconveniently planted it in all of the locations. It's just like inconvenient. So I have it in front of the cucumbers, which are already so bushy, and then you add more bushy stuff there. It is actually nice down at the very end. It's kind of trailing over the front. I mean, it's nice here too, but not a nice garden yet. It's still kind of a progress garden. And at least this year, it's just adding bulk and craziness to what is already crazy in a bad way. Also, I planted my tomatoes way too close together. It's just this big crazy clump of 3 tomato plants, and it's just so much. And I have plenty of space, so it's silly that they're all just so clumped together. That's what, like the nasturtium here, I've got all of these dahlias, which are nice and fine, but then there's the nasturtium back there, and it's not really adding anything of benefit. It's just taking up space and making things way more cluttered than they need to be. But this is the kind of stuff that you live and you learn. So that's great. What I think the nasturtium would be great for is like if I had a planter up at the top and it was trailing down over the long stone walls. I think that would be really cool. So maybe next year I'll try that. We'll see. As of right now, it just seems like it's making chaos even more chaotic. But if we're being totally honest, I don't really care, that much about what it looks like this year, because it's not gonna look perfect this year. Everything is gross, and I mean, look at the ground everywhere. It's a work in progress. So it's better to learn these things this year, things that work and don't work, and then as time goes by and I start to make a garden that's actually beautiful, I mean, not that this isn't beautiful, but it's chaos. But as time goes by, when I really want it to look good, hopefully I'll have some of these kinks worked out. Okay guys, do you want to see a picture of perseverance? Look at this teensy tiny green bean plant. And there are 4 green beans growing on it. It's such a baby. How precious is that? I'm gonna pick them and I'm gonna eat them. Delish. Okay, well, things are looking much improved. See, this is what I mean. This nasturtium is looking really nice. You can tell they don't like good soil, I don't think, and over here it's a lot worse. So there's a lot more flowers, but it's a lot less viney or a lot less big. So that is interesting. But the thing is, even where they're growing nicely, it's just not a nice area to even have them vine over, like flow over the rock walls. It's just because everything is gross on the outside. So it's just not the best. But that's okay. I don't know if I'll ever figure it all out, but hopefully every year I'll get a little bit more knowledge of the garden and how I like things and how the best way to handle it is. So it's a fun learning experience. Everything looks a lot nicer, a little less out of control. I'm excited about that, and I will tune back in a little bit to show you an update on how the weed killer situation goes. I'm very interested to see if it worked or not, so I will keep you posted. Hello friends! So it has been about 24 hours since I put the DIY weed killer on my weeds, and I wanted to show you a quick update of what they're looking like right now. It definitely worked, at least to some degree. They are looking dead or dying. They might continue to die, I think, as sun hits them, but they're also still there. They're just dead. So now I guess I still need to pull them out, which Boris is not wanting me to do right now, and maybe they'll come out a little bit easier. But I'm like, if I still have to pull the weeds out, is this really helping anything? I might as well just pull the weeds out to start with. versus doing the dyeing thing. But I'm gonna give it a few more days and see if it dies even more, like shrivels down and doesn't come back up again. If it continues to shrivel to the point where it's like non-existent, I'd be cool with that. But we can take a quick walk over to the stone wall and see how things are looking there. Okay, we've got some brown dying leaves here. Definitely over in this area, things are looking dying full. So hopefully they'll continue to die. I might do another spray after I get some more vinegar, but it definitely works. At least to some degree. You can just see everything is turning brown. And who knows, maybe it will continue to do that even more, or maybe I'll have to give it another spray. I know there's no cure-all for weeds. It's a never-ending, continual process, but that's okay. That's all part of life. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give the DIY natural weed killer a try in your lawn or garden. Let me know how it works. And I will see you guys next time on A Drill and a Dream.